This is June 2022, paper 6, variant 1, by Mr. Marco Medhat. In the first question, he's asking you about this experiment. The apparatus in the diagram was used to show that when a candle is burned, both water and carbon dioxide are formed. The gases produced when the candle burns are passed through the apparatus using a suction pump. Question A, name the items of the apparatus labeled W and X. W is a funnel. You can say also inverted funnel. Also filter funnel is accepted. X is a test tube, or more accurately, it's a boiling tube. Boiling tube is a certain type of test tubes that withstands high temperature. It can endure high temperature. عشان كده it's best if we're heating. Question B, suggest why ice is placed around the U-tube. The reason for the ice here is to cool the steam into water, or to turn or to condense the steam into water, or you can simply say to condense the water, or to turn steam to water. Question C, we will describe how to test the liquid collected in the U-tube to show it's water. If you want to show that the liquid is water, you can measure the boiling point, and it should be 100 degrees Celsius, or you can measure the freezing point, and it should be 0 degrees Celsius. Yani if you have water, you can heat it and measure the boiling point, or you can freeze it and measure the freezing point, and both should be 0 degree. Question D, بيقول solution Z is used to show that the carbon dioxide gas is produced. Identify solution Z. Of course, it is lime water. By the way, lime water is calcium hydroxide solution. So if you said calcium hydroxide solution, it's also accepted. Question E. Both water and carbon dioxide were made. Identify one element that must be in the compound that makes up the candle. Of course, since carbon dioxide is made, then the candle must have contained carbon. Since water is made by combustion, then the candle must have contained hydrogen. So hydrogen or carbon are both accepted. Question F, describe how the apparatus could be changed to see if sulfur dioxide is made. Give observations if the sulfur dioxide is made. طبعا sulfur dioxide, its test is acidified potassium manganate 7. ده السبستنس اللي بنستخدمها as a test for sulfur dioxide. والresult بتاعته ببساطة it turns from purple to colorless if sulfur dioxide is present. Question 2. A student investigated the rate at which the hydrogen gas is made when magnesium reacts with two different solutions of hydrochloric acid with different concentration. The dilute acid was in excess in both experiments. This is the experiment. He used a measuring cylinder. دايما خليك فاكر when he uses a measuring cylinder, this is a source of error, and you can improve it by using a burette or a pipette, a volumetric pipette. And he put 50 centimeter cube of hydrochloric acid into a conical flask. He measured the initial temperature, and then the bung was removed from the conical flask, and a coiled 5 centimeter length of magnesium ribbon was added to the flask, and then the bung was replaced immediately, and the timer was started. After that, the volume of gas collected in the inverted measuring cylinder was recorded every 20 seconds, that time interval بتاعنا, and the final temperature of the dilute acid was measured using a thermometer. He then asks you to complete the table, the readings بتاعتنا. This is 25, 34.0, 27.0, 48, 65, 78, 86, 89, 90, 90. Each mistake is worth deducting 1 mark. Experiment 2, it was repeated with acid D instead of acid C. The temperature of the initial temperature here was 25.5, here was 31.0, and then 12, 23, 33, 42, 50, 57, 62, and 65. Also, each mistake is for 1 mark. Then he asked you to draw 2 smooth line graphs. ده هيبقى شكل الجراف. Take care ان الواي اكسس بتاعك لازم السكيل يعدي 50% من الواي اكسس، يعني ما ينفعش الكيرف بتاعك يبقى كله تحت نص السكيل، لازم الكيرفز تبقى بالمنظر ده معديه النص. This is the best scale you can choose. الكيرفز هتطلع شكلها بالطريقه دي. Labeling the graph is very important and it's for 1 mark, and then the best fit curves are for 1 mark. The points are for 1 mark, and starting them both from the origin is for 1 mark. Okay. After that, he says in question D, from your graph deduce the volume of gas that will collect after 50 seconds in experiment 2. اللي هتعمله that you will get your ruler. Experiment 2 يعني الجراف اللي تحت 50 seconds هتطلع تخبط في الجراف بتاعك, and then you'll start reading the y-axis. Okay. والانسر بتاعتك هتطلع approximately 28 centimeters cubed. في 1 mark على showing the workout here, 1 mark على اليونت, 1 mark على اليونت, و1 mark على الرقم نفسه اللي هو 28 20. يعني give yourself plus or minus 0.5 as a range. Question E, explain what can be deduced about the concentration of hydrochloric acid C and hydrochloric acid D. Of course, من الgraph we see that experiment 1 is a faster reaction. Therefore, solution C is more concentrated than solution D. Solution C is more concentrated than D. And the reason for that is that experiments 1 reaction was fast. That's how we deduced that solution C was more concentrated. Fi, state what happens to the temperature of the hydrochloric acid during experiment 1. Of course, من الجراف احنا شفنا ان temperature بتزيد لان الجراف طالع. طب state what effect this temperature has on the total volume of gas made. No effect, or the volume will stay the same, لان temperature مش هتخليه يطلع جاز ازيد. It only increases the rate, هتخليه يطلع نفس كمية الجاز بس في وقت اقل. Triple I بيقول describe a change that can be made to the apparatus or reagents to reduce the temperature change of the acid in experiment 1. نرجع ل experiment هنا, experiment 1. اوكي. وبيقول انه هنا عمل الاكسبيرمنت دي وعايز يقلل temperature change of the acid, يعني عايز يخلي temperature change يبقى اقل. How can he reduce the temperature change? الطريقة الوحيدة انه ممكن يحط الكونيكال فلاسك دي كلها في water bath علشان يabsorb temperature اللي طالعة ويقللها. So the answer for this one, how to reduce the temperature change of the acid, is use a water bath. Question G, suggest why it's important to replace the bung in the conical flask immediately after adding the magnesium ribbon. طبعا لأنه if he يعني بص على الاكسبيرمنت هنا, لو ساب البنج opened, لو هو شال البنج دي وسابها opened فترة, الجاز اللي طالع من الاكسبيرمنت واللي المفروض انه يخش في الدليفري تيوب هي escape, وبالتالي الجاز هيبقى lost والريزلتس مش هتبقى accurate. فليه لازم يقفل بسرعة بعد ما يحط المغنيسيوم to minimize gas loss or gas escape, عشان ما يحصلش gas loss أو gas escape. Question H, state the advantage of measuring the volume of gas collected every 10 seconds rather than 20 seconds. ليه بنحاول نزود time intervals؟ لأنه more points lead to better graph. Okay. لو أنا برسم graph وعندي only 2 points, الجراف بتاعي ممكن اعمله كده مش هيطلع accurate قوي لاني مش عارف امشي ازاي, بس لو في بوينت هنا هتعرفني اني محتاج امشي كده. فكل ما بزود البوينتس كل ما برسم better graph او smoother graph. النمرة يا شباب على better graph or smoother graph you take the mark. طبعا better line, better curve, كل ده accepted. Question 3 بيقول solid E and solution F were analyzed. Solid E was ammonium sulfate. يبقى الcation is ammonium. The anion is sulfate, and you will be given the table of cations and anions in this exam. So he's asking you to complete. هو جاب solid E, dissolved it in water, and he divided it into 3 equal portions. بعد كده أول واحد حط عليه aqueous sodium hydroxide, and the mixture formed was warmed, and any gas produced was tested. Okay. طيب أنا عندي ammonium cation, والأمونيوم اتحط عليها sodium hydroxide, and then we heated, so ammonia gas is produced, so the gas is ammonia, and the observations is that the red litmus paper turns blue. The red litmus paper will turn blue because ammonia is an alkaline gas. Question B, to the second portion of solution E, about 1 centimeter depth of dilute nitric acid followed by a few drops of aqueous silver nitrate was added. Silver nitrate is the test for halides, and we don't have any halides here. احنا كل اللي عندنا sulfate, so no change. Question C, to the third portion of solution E, about 1 centimeter depth of dilute nitric acid followed by a few drops of barium nitrate were added. Okay, barium nitrate is the test for sulfate, and therefore the result will be positive. التست بتاع السلفate بيدي white precipitate. Then this table, solution F was divided into 2 portions, hot universal indicator and the universal indicator paper turned orange, which means that we have a weak acid, because yellow and orange give a weak acid, indicate a weak acid. Test 2, hot solution F على sodium carbonate, and the gas turned Lymotil milky with an effervescence. Of course, the gas is carbon dioxide. Question D, he says deduce the pH of solution F. Of course, a weak acid, yani anything from 2 to 6 will be accepted. Then he's saying the positive ion solution F. This is a very tricky question because we knew now that solution F is an acidic. The positive ion in any acid is the hydrogen ion or the proton, okay? You can say H positive or you can say hydrogen ion. Finally, the investigation, he says, a sample of muddy river water contains water, dissolved solids, and insoluble solid mud. يبقى أنت عندك 3 حاجات: water, dissolved solids, and insoluble solid mud. Plan an investigation to find the concentration of dissolved solids in gram per decimeter in the river water. In your answer, state how you will work out the concentration of the dissolved solids in gram per decimeter. You're provided with a small sample of muddy river water and common laboratory apparatus. طيب what does he want؟ الراجل ده عايز ببساطة يعرف الكونسنتريشن بتاعة الديزولved solids في sample of water in gram per decimeter. يعني he wants to know how many grams are dissolved in 1 decimeter cubed. Okay? طيب how can we do that؟ أول حاجة we need to get a specific volume of water. Okay? We can say get 500 centimeter cubed, for example, of river water or water. Number 2, we need to place it in a suitable container. Okay? We need to place this water in a suitable container. Then we will have to place it, the water, in a beaker, for example, or a conical flask if you want. Then after that, you need to remove the insoluble solid mud. This insoluble solid mud has to be removed, and therefore you will filter. كده فضل لك الwater and the dissolved salts. You need to heat or evaporate to remove the water and leave the dissolved salts by their own, but you will heat until all water is gone or until dryness. Okay? فأنا عندي دلوقتي الwater فيها dissolved salts. طب أنا عايز الماس بتاع dissolved salts دي لوحدها، يبقى I need to evaporate the water until dryness عشان أخلص من الwater خالص. هيفضل لي solid فاضل في الآخر weigh the left solid. Okay? And then we need to get the concentration simply the concentration is the mass we found, okay, divided by the volume used times 2 because we used 500 centimeter cubed, and he wants the volume, the concentration in 1000 centimeter cube or 1 decimeter cube. Okay, so that's the experiment. Again, we got 500 centimeter cube of water. شلنا أي undissolved solids by filtration. عملنا evaporation، خلصنا من كل الووتر. فضل لنا في البيكر بتاعنا السوليد بس اللي احنا عايزين نعرف الكونسنتريشن بتاعه. هنجيب السوليد ده نعمل له weighing، عرفنا وزنه، هنقسمه على الفوليوم used اللي هي ال 500 سنتيمتر كيوب، والانسر هنعملها times 2، يبقى احنا جبنا الكونسنتريشن بتاعت السوليد ده in 1 decimeter cubed, and that is the answer. That was June 2022, paper 6, variant 1 by Mr. Marco Matai.